Today, September 27th, 2023. Self-discovery as a day trader is arduous. For somebody like me, practically impossible. But I'm going on this route anyway because I have no other option. Stock markets have lots of options, but I have no option, and I'm going in this direction. Now, what I thought about, uh, now what I thought about is very interesting to me. What is very interesting is that I heard an interview with this VWAP expert, and he talks about how the candlestick formation tells a story. It tells a story. It's creating. So if I look at a book, essentially each of the words have specific meaning by itself, and it can be placed into different sentence, different paragraph, a different chapter, and different book, and series of books to define what the story is all about based on that single word. Okay, so essentially books are daily time frames, and within one day, which is one book, it is a complete complete story about a particular description that fits into a single book. Okay, and a single book has many chapters. It has chapters that define what happens within the day on a daily intraday format. And within those chapters, there's a lot of paragraphs. Within those lot of paragraphs, a lot of things happen within those paragraphs. And within those paragraphs, there's quite a few sentences. Within those sentences, there are words. And so these words, essentially, if I were to break it down into a 1 minute chart pattern, essentially one word is equal to a single candle. Some words are very long. Some words are very short, like is, the, or there is a very long word like Rumpelstiltskin, or somebody has really long names like Frankenstein or thing of the other, right? Encyclopedia is a fairly long word, and there's another thing called supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's a long word, right? So those are long words, and when these long words, they go in a specific direction with emphasis. Now, what I saw on Microsoft towards the close was essentially within a span of 20 minutes, it actually climbed $2, right? It was down all day, but something must have been disclosed prior to the 20 minutes where the candles were painting a $2 gain, right? It was all green candles, and it just started climbing, climbing, climbing. So had I known what the sentence was stating to me, I would have known what to do and taken advantage of that particular situation, because so essentially the tension was being built up, okay? So the tension was being built up alongside what the QQQ was doing, along with other stocks. And the painting was essentially gloom and doom, gloom and doom, gloom and doom, gloom and doom, gloom and doom. Then at a certain point, there is a change in the sentiment of the stock, which caused it to rocket up. Okay, something happened that is displaying a particular major trend reversal within the intraday. So if a stock went this way, that would be one chapter. When it went up that way, there would be another chapter. And then when it moved this way, it would be another chapter. When it dips like this, it would be another chapter. And then at the end of the day, when it moves up, it is actually the climax or the last chapter of the book, or a intra-day. And so when I look into that situation, and some of the professional day traders talk about, okay, so after a while, candle points here, and all of a sudden there's a big candle. It is saying something. It is breaking out. It's saying that something dramatic is happening. The story is essentially sideways, nothing, essentially just nothing particular is happening. That's what it's saying. When it's moving sideways, it's saying to me that nothing really is happening. But when something like a green candle appears, that means whatever situation was occurring previous to that green candle, something dramatic is happening, and it is something to be noted upon in order to connect together what will happen in subsequent candles. And most likely, on a statistical probability, when that happens, that is by no means by any mistake whatsoever. There must be some sort of when it's followed by some sort of volume that moves it in that direction, there is some sort of a catalyst that's causing it to move in the direction where that green candle has sparked a ignition into igniting and propellant to move into that direction, either down or move up. Something is dramatically impacting the movement of that stock. And so I need to keep looking into this now that I have studied Al Brooks for a while, and he keeps talking about doing this, higher high, lower lows. He's talking about the market structure, the cycles, and all that stuff, and I've been viewing it. I mean, we're talking about hours and hours and hours of videos where I would start from one end, I would forget about it, and I would get to the other end, and then when I loop back, I forget what the end was, and I have to review and review and review. And I'm going through his encyclopedias, and so far, eventually it's going to make sense, but it's not making any sense right now. But it's really good materials. It's leading me into really like looking at the chart formation so that I can look at the book by its cover and completely understand what's going to happen that day. And if I keep reading more and more, I get more details of what the story is going to be like. And then as I study more and more about that particular intraday chart patterns, then I become more aware of what the situation is. Such as sometimes the stock would do this and right back. So it's like the story takes a deep, interesting interest, and then something happens to have a happy ending or something like that, right? There's a smile that's being built up into the day trading world. And so now it's time for me to like look at the story and then figure out what will happen on a smaller scale. Okay, what's going to happen on a smaller scale or a smaller time frame? And then when I look at that smaller time frame, how do I trade it? How do I trade it based on the main theme of the day? Right? How do I trade it based on the main theme? What are the series of sequential books that are displaying? Like, is it a major 200-day trend is doing this? That means that when a chapter is heightened up to elevate the emotion of the stock, then I need to enter knowing that there is a high probability. Okay, now that I have the backbone of the major trend that's occurring. So the small trend will be influenced by the major trend. And when I enter a trade, even if it's painting lots of green candles, and when the major trend is going down, I know at a certain point there's a statistical probability when it reaches a certain point of climax that my intention is to align with the major trend, which means that I would buy a put at a certain point. Okay, knowing that there is a strong probability it's going to fit in with the major trend that occurs. That's the story.